What's up, Central Illinois? Derek Hayden here. Garrett and I love sharing all the awesome stories about our Central Illinois business leaders. We want to make sure our Central Illinois businesses are protected so we can continue to share all these great stories. That's why you should consider another great Central Illinois company, Pekin Insurance, for your business insurance needs. That's right, you can get all the commercial insurance coverages that your company needs from an excellent insurance company headquartered right here in Pekin, Illinois. Pekin Insurance offers comprehensive business coverage that lets you focus on what's important to you: employees, profits, and peace of mind. Ask your local Pekin Insurance agent about their commercial insurance products or learn more at pekininsurance.com. You can also contact your favorite podcast hosts, Garrett or myself, Derek, and we'll go beyond the expected for you.
Welcome to the Central Illinois Business Leaders Podcast, where business owners, thought leaders, and community champions from across Central Illinois come to share their story. The Central Illinois Business Leaders Podcast. Anything less would be uncivilized.
What's up, Central Illinois? I'm Derek Hayden. I'm here with Garrett Ulmer. We are your hosts for the Central Illinois Business Leaders Podcast, powered by Zambu. Zambu is a delicious grapefruit or wildberry vodka-based spirit infused with a Brazilian buzz button. It's smooth, tasty, and leaves you with a signature tingle. Learn more at zambuliquors.com. Zambu, taste the tingle. All right, Central Illinois. Today's guest is the founder and president at DCC Marketing in Decatur, Illinois. She is also the vice president and global marketing director at TCCI Manufacturing in Decatur and the president of Demirco Properties. Ladies and gents of Central Illinois, please welcome Kara Demirjian Huss. How are you doing, Kara?
Great. Wondering how I can get some of that vodka. That's my first thing.
There you go. We might be able to hook you up.
We've got a pretty good hook up there.
I think I'm going to need it after this.
Well, hopefully we're not too hard on you, but we are going to put a little pressure on you to start with, because I'm going to kick it to Garrett for our speed round, where he's going to take you through 6 questions, and hopefully you can answer those in 60 seconds.
Gotcha. Yeah, we will set the timer. It's a strict 60 seconds, Kara. So I hope you're ready.
Okay. I'm going to do
All
my
right.
best.
The first concert that you ever attended?
Metallica.
Wow.
Very good.
First.
Yeah.
All right. Favorite movie?
Devil Wears Prada.
All right. Favorite ice cream flavor?
Ooh, I don't eat dairy, but if I had to pick, it'd be mint chocolate chip.
All
And they make a
right.
really good one that's dairy free.
Oh, nice.
Gotcha. Perfect. iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
Gotcha. Favorite social media platform?
LinkedIn.
All right. And last but not least, why Central Illinois?
It's my home. Love it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Very
Great.
nice. And I saw that you attended U of I. Is that correct?
That's correct. ILL.
There you
There
go.
you-
INI.
INI.
Showed up this weekend, right?
Showed up. They're
Yes.
showing up. Love it.
That's great. Well, thank you, Kara. You didn't do
Yeah.
too bad on the speed round there, so
not
we didn't
too
have to
bad.
kick you off the show.
Yeah.
So
Good. Whew.
yeah,
Stu-
good.
Yeah.
So give us, I know you've got a really unique resume. Why don't you tell us a little bit about like how you started, how you got to where you are now, and what you are doing? Give us a quick 3 to 5 minute explanation for our listeners.
Sure. Well, I'm no longer a fashion designer. That is what I was really hoping to do when I went to school. So if you ever think you're going down a path and it turns another way, don't give up. Never give up, because the path could turn out to be even better. So, that I graduated from U of I in 92. And I went to work for Bacharach's corporate office here and did visual merchandising for probably about 10 of their stores at their corporate office, and then went on to help lead some of their distribution center, really helping determine the distribution of 72 stores and really lead their visual merchandising across all their stores. And it was about a few years later that my dad came to me and said, okay, we need some help in marketing with our manufacturing companies, and we would love for you to come interview here. And I was like, ooh, manufacturing. Not so sure about that. But if you know our family and you know how important family is, my dad risked everything back in the mid 80s when he bought the York division of Borg Warner. And so probably one of my biggest passions is the opportunity to be able to continue what my father had started. And so I came to work for my dad in late 94, 95, and worked in two of our divisions that we've since sold in the marketing and led the marketing for those companies. And in about 1997 was really the transformational year for me personally. So we were looking to build a new corporate headquarters, and the city of Decatur was extremely progressive and had known that my dad had been very involved. And came to my dad and said, would you work with us to help revitalize the downtown Decatur area and build your corporate offices in downtown? And so at that point, my dad had some really good relations with BKD at the time, which is our accountant, and then also Samuels Miller, who still today is our attorneys. And we proceeded to move forward with building Demirco Place, which is now the Hickory Point Bank building downtown Decatur. And so he helped to revitalize downtown back in the late 90s when rents were at $8 a square foot gross. We were building a Class A space that was going to push rents to $12 a square foot triple net. So a really big transformation in the downtown area of what we see today. And that was really the transformation of my role, because my dad retired at that same time. My brother Richard took over our manufacturing businesses, and somebody had to manage the development of the 72,000 square foot facility. So I raised my hand, and off to the races I was now starting a real estate division. And so I knew nothing. And really got very active in the community, became part of the Economic Development Corporation, which I'm still on. I had several mentors like Jim Macy, Carla Brinkotter, Bill Clevenger, that really helped me better understand the community and what it means to sell Decatur, because I knew I couldn't sell the building if I didn't know how to sell Decatur. And so that really got me very involved in economic development and sort of built this passion around real estate development. And so I went on to do a joint venture with Tony Romano, which is West Town Square. A lot of people don't know that we were involved with West Town Square at Millikan University, which is the old Blue Mill facility. So we revitalized that Millikan University area and helped build that corridor between Millikan University and the downtown, and then later donated that building back to Millikan, which now is going to be part of their sports medicine and nursing program, and has really become an incredible part of Millikan University. And then I went on to do several projects with Decatur Memorial Hospital, now Memorial Health Center, as well. So really kind of built the real estate division up. And so as you can imagine, you guys, I was really busy with all of the real estate, but I was still doing all the marketing for our family companies that I was working with. And so that's when I went out trying to hire an advertising agency to help me with my marketing. And at that time, I just wasn't having luck with finding a marketing agency in our area that really could understand our business sector and understand the business to business strategies that are really needed in developing a growth position for your company. And so I started to put a business plan together and do it affordably, really. And really have a business mind when they're thinking about those strategies. And so I didn't want just a logo or a pretty brand. I wanted it to actually do something and have some marketing channel strategies and some real business strategies that can supplement that. And so that was the birth of DCC. And I started DCC in 2000. And just recently, it really grown DCC. I think in the last 4 years, it has taken a new trajectory. We became a women business entity in 2019. DCC started under our real estate division, and then I bought out shares and it became its own entity with majority ownership, and became DCC Marketing, and I incorporated that as a women business entity, which actually took a few years for me I had been incorporated by, but it's a lot of paperwork and a lot of work to become a women business entity. And so I wasn't sure that was actually going to change the dynamic of the business growth. But I will say it has been one of the transformational things for me. We've started to do quite a bit of state work throughout the state of Illinois. Several state agencies. We've become the agency of record with our offices now in Chicago and in Central Illinois. We do media buys that are as small as $50,000 and as large as $4.5 million. So
Wow.
it's really become a substantial part. We do quite a bit of work for the Illinois Department of Human Services, some really important work there with bringing the 988 suicide health line to market. In Illinois, the Reimagine public safety campaign that is out there. We're doing all of that statewide work. So a lot of work throughout we do. So Danzig and Consociate is one of our founding companies that we've been doing work with the Reynolds family for years. And so just a really important, we select our clients with really, we take a unique look at the clients that we're working with, because it's important for us that we're not just an ad agency to them. We become a partner and an extension to their business. So that is the quick 3-minute, maybe 4-minute rundown of how we got to where we are today.
It sounds like you're not that busy very often.
No.
Well, that's so cool. I mean,
Yeah.
you mentioned U of I, you were kind of planning on doing design, clothing design. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
And then you,
Yes.
as your dad kind of reached out, and you didn't know what was in your future, but you were able to adjust and, continue doing what your dad had planned, and then seeing everything come to fruition. It's got to be cool to be in your shoes, to look around the city of Decatur and see all of the places that, kind of have the fingerprints of you and your family on it. That's very cool.
Yeah, it is. And people are always like, how do you keep doing everything? How are you doing so much? I just love it. I couldn't imagine not being ingrained in everything that I do. Whether it's Economic Development Corporation, or I'm the president of the Community Foundation. I'm now a Milliken trustee. I'm on the executive board for the Illinois Manufacturers Association. Like, I would never give those things up. They are so important to me, and the impact that we make, because it's really not just about me. It's about the communities and about those around us. And so I think it's always been something really important to our family. And, the Reynolds family is the same way. And so, I think that you guys are probably accustomed to feeling that way as well, with all that they do throughout the community. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's very, very neat to see any family organization that has been able to stay a family organization. I know there's ups and downs, and, goods and bads and all that stuff. But speaking of goods and bads, I know for TCCI, there was recently a very good thing that happened. Would you be able to explain to our listeners what is going on with TCCI and what the announcement was?
Sure. And I'm just going to take a step back, because I didn't really explain this before, but the companies I was doing marketing for, we have since sold. And so I was doing ad hoc work for TCCI, as they were a client of ours on the agency side. But it wasn't really until 2015 that my brother Richard came to me and said, we really need to reposition this company. We've got a diluted brand across the globe. We really need to take a different perspective into how our growth is moving globally. We need to really look at our product expansions and how we're taking our product to market across our applications in our industry sector. So he had asked if I would come in from a strategic standpoint and really be on board as an officer within the company. And so that was a real change for me, because I had to continue doing what I was doing, but I really had to learn the compressor business. We make compressor technology technology for the commercial vehicle and automotive, specialty automotive and same day delivery vehicles. And so in the last 4 years, you've seen this transformation of the transportation industry, and so to electrification. And so this has been super exciting for me over the last several years. And about, I'd say 18 months ago, I started working with our state officials to look at how can we help retool this 1940s facility that we're in to put in electric compressor US manufacturing, a made in America product, the first made in America compressor in the United States, right here in Decatur, and do that and still have a cost competitive product. So as you can imagine, to retool a 1940s facility is just incredibly expensive. And we were looking to do this in our India location. We're already producing in China right now, and it would have been a significantly smaller investment to just put in another line in India. But because of the vision of Governor Pritzker, Deputy Governor Menard, Senator Turner, Representative Scheer, Richland Community College, it has been, talk about, like, when you ask me what do I love most about here, it's home. Like, you cannot put these kind of collaborative partnerships together without people that you trust and that trust in you. And we were able to, in 18 months, put together this amazing program where we're now, on Tuesday, the governor was here and we announced an EV manufacturing facility right here in Decatur that will be producing compressors here, along with a climatic center for research that we're doing with Richland, as well as with our partners at the University of Illinois and Northern Illinois University. And then also, probably the first in the nation, Richland is actually going to be putting their classrooms for EV training inside our facility. So whereas you normally see them on the campus, they're actually immersing them into our facility here, and we're creating an EV engineering and software technology academy. So it's really, it's super exciting. Yeah.
That's definitely the direction of the automobile business. And that's awesome for Decatur for sure.
Yeah. So we were awarded the first company in Illinois to get the REV tax incentives, as well as Richland and the city of Decatur were granted $21.3 million to help us co-create this facility here. So it's just super exciting. So I have my work cut out. This is just the beginning. Now we're building these curriculums. Our partners at Navistar, they were here with us too, and we're working at joining partnerships with them, because there are jobs that just aren't here yet, and we have to create this curriculum, and there's jobs at all levels. So I'm just really, so now I have this governmental affairs hat as well. So it's a hat that I love, like you can tell with my glow. It's really fun to make things happen and use all the people that you've met over the years to help you forge a new path. So it's exciting.
That's excellent. That is exciting. And that's huge for your business and your family. And one thing I'm sure Decatur doesn't yet understand, and Central Illinois in general understand how big that is for our area. Like you said, the first American, electric compressor, that's going to be, that's
awesome.
That's the first. That's nuts that it's coming here to Central Illinois.
It is, and unlike the mechanical compressor that we make, the electric compressor is a critical component. It cools not just the cabin for operator comfort, but it cools the battery. So that impacts range for the electric vehicle, the speed of range. It impacts safety, and all of those by cooling the battery. So there's is a lot of, which is why that research center was also important. So we're actually going to build a climatic center here to have a chamber where we can stick a full vehicle, full bus, or large tractor in there with a DC fast charger and test against climate. Because you can imagine with an electric vehicle, the climate has a huge impact on range and speed to charge and all of that. So really all that research is going to be done here.
Wow.
So it's exciting.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So to put your marketing hat on, I love to talk marketing. I enjoy it. So switching over to DCC just a little bit, every business, I feel like, especially in the digital age, can be a little confused or overwhelmed with which direction and, how to, market their business. Do you have certain businesses that are the niche, or do you work with all different styles of businesses? Just tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I would say we definitely work for all businesses, but over the last, I'd say 5 years, we've really focused in on a lot of state work with our WBE, which is really about changing behaviors. So I wouldn't say it's so much about industry. It's really working within this at-risk community, changing behaviors. It's kind of started with the census, and then we really work now across programs to change behaviors, whether that's drinking and driving, distracted driving, whether that's suicide prevention or mental health and wellness, or public, gun violence. It's really about, in my mind, changing behaviors and how do we speak and create content that's relevant and create, channel strategies that work within those sectors. So that's a big number one part. The other is education. We've really grown. Again, I think our women business entity, we were already doing a lot in the education sector for University of Illinois, but now we're doing work across the 13 public universities. So University of Illinois System, Northern Illinois, Governor State, Chicago State. We have a long list of education, and we do everything from faculty recruitment to enrollment to online marketing for their online programs, their MBA programs, for their career certificate programs, for their cohorts. So we do kind of the gamut in education, endowment marketing, really across that. And then really healthcare is another big sector for us. So whether that's with Consociate and then the additional and Danzig and some of the additional work that we're doing across that industry, as well as within other healthcare industries. It's another big area for us. And manufacturing, obviously manufacturing is another big sector because that is the heart of the skills of what we have as well. So a lot of B2B, I guess, would be,
Sure.
But because that changing behaviors as a B2C marketplace, we also do a lot in that area. And we're really strong at large media buys across the state. So that's kind of, Garrett, to sort of answer your question. There isn't really one specific area. And I think that was but there are things that we see kind of rising to the top for us. And for us, it's about putting a business strategy first, which is why I started this company. Is really marketing is marketing, right? You have this toolkit of things that you can do. And you first have to evaluate and understand what the goals are of that business, whatever business it is. And you can't really do effective marketing if you don't take the time to understand the business.
Sure.
So that's really
Absolutely.
what it starts with.
Yeah, that's great. So you mentioned DCC started in 2000.
Yeah.
And you talked about all the changes that you saw on the TCCI manufacturing side. Tell us about some of the changes that you've seen from 2000 to 2022 on the marketing side.
That's a lot. I mean, I don't even know where to start. Like, were there even computers back when I started? I don't know. No, I mean, I don't, when did Facebook start? What was it, 2003?
That sounds about right.
Yeah, in that time frame.
And people, I wouldn't even say, people used social media platforms, but I'm going to tell you, COVID made really, like, people who never used it before, everyone's using it now. And and I know people were doing digital marketing before, but the transformation, we even saw it with census, right? Because the ground effort of census stopped. It just halted. And so all of that had to shift to getting people to fill out their census. And we had to do that through the digital space, and find unique ways to be able to get that message out there, because traditionally that had been a grounds game, right? We had, and that was a really important part of that marketing strategy. It still is today, that grounds, that guerrilla marketing effort, that working with community-based organizations, working with influencer marketing, that type of it is really important. And now it's about kind of integrating all those things together, and how do you get all these channels to work together. And I think that integrated marketing strategy is really what's kind of always stayed the same, but we just have more things to integrate now. So that toolkit has become much bigger. And I think where companies have the hardest time is where's the best place for their budget. and how do they manage it depending on what their budget is, and how do they still do that effectively, which all goes back to what are your business goals, right? So
Yep.
but yeah, the toolkit has completely changed. I mean, there's just, I'd say just the digital space has become so much more important, and new platforms are built all the time. And all of these technologies, and video is basically non-negotiable anymore, but you have to be able to create video inexpensively, which has always been a challenge. You know, one of the things we've done is created an in-house video production studio here to help reduce the costs of videos, because a lot of times they're one and done. The content can be repurposed again, but you're not, the big production videos aren't as done as often anymore as the social 15-second videos, and in some cases are just as effective, right? But now you have to find ways to get those done cost effectively. So
Right. Yeah.
Yep,
We
it
were.
was funny. I was watching something on marketing the other day, or may have been a while ago. I can't remember exactly when, but it was a picture of a camera. It was a picture of a calendar. It was a picture of a computer. It was a picture of the phone book. It was a picture of everything that you used in your daily life to market appointments. And now it's in one thing, a phone. You know, everything just condensed down so much to one different item. You know, it's the marketing is just a completely different world than it was a few years ago, for sure.
it is. Yeah.
We were talking, I was talking to a gal that is a manager for a pretty prominent restaurant here in Central Illinois. And she was talking about trying to keep up with social media trends. And she said that she finally just had to find someone else that was younger, because the younger, they keep coming up with new apps, especially social media. And there was one that she mentioned that, like, I can't remember the name of it, but it's almost like a Snapchat, TikTok mix, where it like sends you a message and it says, take a picture of what you're doing right now and post it. And so everybody takes a video or a picture and posts it to the, like, at the same time. I'll have to look up the name, because it's supposed to be gonna be the next big thing. And Carrie, you might know the name of it. I don't know.
I you know, my team probably would, but you're into, again, like, that is an entire department for us here now, and it continues to build, and we can't hire enough people fast enough in that department. So I think that's been a big change since 2000. I remember when I first was thinking about digital space, I was like, oh my gosh, nobody's going to do this, right? Or how do you show that it's value, right? How do you show your ROI to it? And so anyway, there's so many new things and new technology that's coming out in that space that you have to keep up with it, and new rules and regulations about what you can and can't do, what you can, and then every platform has different targeting requirements. And so it really is not something that I keep up with, but my team keeps up with in that department. And I have a senior VP that oversees that department, because that department is critical to our clients and what they're trying to achieve.
Well, that just speaks to the necessity of firms like DCC Marketing. I mean, it's you look at a business owner, and most business owners are, there might be the president, they're the safety officer, they're the, marketing director, the HR, assistant. So trying to keep up with all of the changes that are happening in the world, and especially on the marketing side, if you are not keeping up, you are losing the battle. I mean, someone's passing you up if you're not able to stay in front of or stay up with what's going on. So for a business owner, you can do a little bit, but you still have a business to run. So being able to utilize the skills and knowledge of a DCC marketing and the entire team that you have behind you, Kara, to research and stay on top of everything, that's huge for a business owner to be able to continue to progress and make sure they're not, being stagnant or, losing business. Because that's, 2022, the speed of change has just been, like you said, since COVID, I cannot keep up with stuff. It is crazy.
Yeah. And I think that's the whole, again, that sort of is the premise. We started this business to be an extension to a marketing department, so you can do more with less, right? So it's sometimes really hard, and it's even harder now with all the workforce challenges, to hire somebody that's good at all these different skills versus just hiring a company that can do all those skills for you for less than it would cost for 1 or 2 employees. Like, that's the model that we were built on is we don't want to take the place of the marketing department. We want to be an extension to the marketing department. So you can do things faster and more economically, and keep up with all of the changes that are happening, and know that that's all they're doing. Right.
Yeah.
So that's our wheelhouse.
Yeah.
So I think that's really, and that model has never, that's what we built the business on. And that model has just always been needed. And I think even on times where marketing departments are cut, we've seen that's when we tend to grow because companies still need to do marketing. So now they cut their employees or they cut their departments, and then they have to still hire people to do that for them. But today it's like now it's even different because you need that expertise. And it's such a targeted expertise across all these and every platform. Even, I mean, we've got experts here that maybe aren't experts across all social platforms, just certain social platforms. And then you have different people that are experts on different platforms because that's how it works, but yet they all work together to create this sort of integrated plan for a client.
Yeah. Great. So, well, you mentioned that you're always looking to hire new people and you're trying to keep up with, on the hiring side. What are some of the positions, if there's anybody listening, that, the marketing thing is ringing in their ear? What are some of the positions that you guys are looking to hire for?
Well, we're in the process right now of interviewing graphic designers. So we're definitely building our graphics department. And then also in the administrative department. So really looking accounts payable, accounts receivable. So, you maybe don't think about that in an ad agency, but if you're interested in a really fun environment, but doing, boring work like that. No, I'm just kidding. No. So
you can be honest with us.
But no, it's a really important part because we do a lot of state work. So the billing part of it is a really critical piece. We're using a lot of federal funds and state funds. So we need to ensure that we're accurate in our billing and invoicing components. So building our staff on that side, and then always our digital side. So we're continually, even if we don't have anything posted, I encourage if somebody is interested in that digital space, we're constantly taking resumes because we may not have something today, but we'll have something tomorrow. So we're constantly looking for good people on that digital side of our business. Yeah.
And where can they reach out?
If you go to our careers page on DCC Marketing, if you go to dccmarketing.com and just click on the careers page, you'll see all the job postings that are available and then how to get a hold of us.
Excellent. I'm sure they can find a way to hire you as well there. So,
yeah.
Kara, we are actually getting close to our 30-minute mark before we hop off. So we know how to get a hold of DCC Marketing. If someone has questions for you, what's the best way to reach you?
By phone, probably 217-421-7580.
Excellent.
And then I'm extension 107. Or you can email at KSD, Kara Susan Demirjian at dccmarketing.com.
Excellent. Well, any last words of advice or ideas or shout outs before we hop off of here?
Oh my gosh, this has been really fun. Get involved, find mentors, really follow your dream and build it. Because I never thought I would be here today at 52 years old from that 27-year-old that was working on the downtown building. So I think your path can change. And just keep riding that dream. I think it's really exciting where it can lead, even if it's not where you originally had planned.
Excellent. Well, for all you listeners out there, make sure you're subscribing to the CIBL podcast on your favorite podcast platform. While you're there, please give us a quick review. You can also follow our podcast on social media on LinkedIn and Facebook. You can connect with Garrett and I personally there as well. Until next time, Kara, you've officially been civilized. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kara. Have a great day.
Bye. You too.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Central Illinois Business Leaders Podcast. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/CIBL podcast. You can also follow us on LinkedIn. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. It's the civilized thing to do.